It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, where we focus on all things weather, but we do get hungry from time to time. That's why we're sponsored by Marco's Pizza, who, by the way, are giving away 22 pizzas tomorrow. Wait a minute. I thought this thing was on Thursdays. It normally is on Thursdays, but because I'm off Thursday and Friday, Halloween, we're going to give them away tomorrow. So you have a chance, still time, and I'll explain how you can do that here in a moment. I want to talk about Melissa for a moment. Hurricane Melissa made history today. Made history. So how do you know that? Well, it's simply because of the strength of this storm. And there are a whole host of parameters that you can look at when you look at Melissa. This is the satellite view, as you can see, over the last couple of hours. Over the last 3 hours, this is where it is. It's actually moving away from Jamaica. The center of circulation is now moving toward eastern Cuba. And I am curious to know what you think, feel, or express. This is a great chance to do that on the comments section. I got a note from Lisa. I believe she is actually putting out a note for probably all of us would share. I think that's the case where, if I have this right, let me see if I can send this in. Lisa has a note from, well, pray for Jamaica. Great idea. You know, because given the fact that, sometimes the worst of it is after the storm, right? When people pull out their chainsaw and they hit a power line and suddenly they're gone. And I mean, these types of things happen. As we heard from our exclusive interview with Dr. Michael Brennan, the director of the National Hurricane Center, did a live stream. We did a conversation back and forth earlier this summer. So it's kind of the worst situation after storm because you got to figure out where things are, and it's a lot of cleanup. So I do want to echo this and mention that as well. But I want to come back on the satellite image here because as we zoom back in, I want to note that the strongest storm by wind speed was actually about 10 years ago this week. Look at that defined eye. Very, very dry. I believe meteorologist Tony Nargi said it was the third driest eye on record. Now, some of you are like, dry eye, well, maybe you just need some Visine. No, we're talking about the fact that the intensity of this can be measured multiple ways, right? You've got an intense eye wall. Northeast, we talked about last night, had winds of 185. That's in keeping with Wilma. For those of you old enough to remember, I was on the air in 2005. I was from Rochester to Philly, and I was on the air when we had Katrina hit. It was a very active year because it was Katrina, and then it was Rita, and then Wilma came later. But this is on par. This storm, Melissa, is on par with Wilma. Both had winds of 185. This one was gusting 220. Patricia, which probably many of us don't know, but 10 years ago, in 2015, October 23rd, Hurricane Patricia was off the coast of Mexico, had winds that were sustained at 220. Was that right, 220? Yeah, I believe, 215, 215. So, for comparison, sustained winds were 30 miles an hour higher with Patricia in the Pacific compared to this storm, Melissa. But somebody said, oh, well, stay in the same lane, Aldrich, stay in the Atlantic. Okay, well, we had Mitch, 1998. You ready for these statistics? I've made some notes today. Central America, including Jamaica, got hit from Mitch in 1998. Winds were 177. There were 19,325 fatalities. Let me say that again. 19,325 fatalities from Mitch in 1998. You go way back in history. 1935, there was a Labor Day hurricane. Winds were 183. There were almost 500 fatalities from that year. But if you go way back, the deadliest to hit Cuba, because that's where this is going next, was 1932. It was the only Category 5 to hit in November. A 1932 hurricane that hit Cuba killed about 3,100 people. It's still the deadliest to hit in Cuban history. So you find out some interesting facts when things happen, but this hit New Hope around 1 o'clock today. I don't want to focus on this too much, but it is worth noting if you're in the weather world, this was pretty remarkable, making some serious history. Let me just change gears and just want to urge you because we're trying to give away free pizza. Do you know how hard it is to give away free pizza? It's not easy because some people are like, oh, you can't be for real. No, there are actually 6 locations, 3 in Virginia Beach, 2 in Chesapeake now, and 1 in Norfolk that will actually honor your certificate, should and if you win. Normally we do this on Thursdays, but we're going to do one tomorrow. We'll give away free pizza for a year, and if you want to know what that looks like, it's a certificate where some individual will get 1 free pizza for October if it gets in their mailbox in time, 1 in November, 1 in December. We're talking about 1 large, 1 topping pizza. that's free every month, and it will carry right into September and possibly October of 2026. You'll get 12 of these if you happen to win. But I do know that they're delicious food. If you haven't tried it, I would encourage you to check it out. The Marco's Pizza. Now, we have a special deal of the week. It's the medium specialty pizzas. One of them is the Hot Honey Magnifico that you see pictured. But if you prefer to have a different type of specialty pizza, maybe you want something like the Philly, the white cheesy, the big cheese, the chicken fresco, or the Works or barbecue chicken. All of these specialty pizzas that you can find on marcos.com would qualify for a $10.99 if you use the promo code WTKR Sunny. So there's that in a nutshell. I'm very interested to know what you think, feel, or are feeling. I'm going to put your comments on the screen. Coming back to that big storm here. Astonishing to see how much and how powerful this storm was. It's not something, I'm very grateful, as I'm sure many of you are, that this is not headed to the United States. It's going to be moving away from us. And the inclement weather, the bad, lousy weather that we had today is actually going to help divert it away from us. So in some ways, be grateful for small favors. I know we've had 4, I'm going to say this again, 4 new, I should come back on camera for this one. Let me come back on here. Let me come back over here. Let's see if I can put this back over here. Yep, we had 4 new homes that collapsed. Well, 4 homes that were collapsed in Buxton. So that brings it up to about 15 since September. 15 homes have collapsed because of the high surf. There was more ocean overwash over NC-12. So if you think about this, I mean, even though you don't have the effects of a Jamaican Hurricane Melissa, you don't have that situation, but we've had enough of a problems here where it's been no picnic this summer, that's for sure. But I'm checking in with you. I got some notes. Let's see, Taj Brown has got a little, I think he's got some kind of a cool endorsement here. Let me see if I can say, I did not encourage him to say this, but he said, I had Marcos for the first time yesterday. It was good, but better today. You know, sometimes I like a cold pizza too. I will have it sitting on the refrigerator, and sometimes they make for great breakfast, but some people think it's weird. But then again, some people think it's cool to eat powdery donuts in the morning. I don't know if that's the most nutritious thing either, but I get ahead of myself. Let me go back to some other comments that might be trickling in. Kim Thompson-Jones had a note. She said, I was wondering where you were, thought maybe you had plans or something. Oh, maybe she's talking to Taj, because he wasn't here yesterday. I was here yesterday, Kim, as you know. But I got to keep moving. Let's focus on our weather. We'll let this play one more time. As you can see, the clock is at the top of the screen. So if this dramatic time lapse, this is an 18-hour loop. This is a loop, and it is headed toward eastern Cuba, but it has weakened quite a bit. I believe now it's still a Category 4. It actually was a 5, but now it's a 4 as of 4 o'clock this afternoon. I'll get to those specifics in a moment. Let's focus on the rainy weather. How many of you are tired, from a show of hands, how many of you are tired from, maybe better yet, how many of you are tired from this rain? Who's tired of the rain? If you're tired of the rain, show of hands. I'm kind of curious because it's been very wet over toward places like Edenton, Camden, and Currituck County over the last hour or so. We've now received over an inch of rain in Virginia Beach. This is today's rains, and it's not done because we haven't reached midnight yet. Technically not till 1 a.m. because we're still on daylight time. More on that in a moment. But Manio's picked up 3/4 of an inch, Portsmouth 3/4 of an inch, and Ahoskie is coming in just under 7/10 of an inch. A lot of rain. Smithfield's had a half inch, but look at Chesapeake. That looks like the big one, the big winner, 1.26 and counting. About an inch so far in Currituck proper, and Suffolk has had officially 1.13 inches of rain. Now, we had said yesterday on this live stream, I'd said during the 4, the 5, the 6, 7, 10, and 11 o'clock newscast, there's a lot, that we would pick up likely 1 to 3. 1 to 3 inches of rain is what I expected, and that's going to be total by the time we get to Thursday. So this is just day 1. There will be less intensity tomorrow, less rain, but still a lot of clouds and wind to throw in for good measure. But there's clearly a streak here. You can see it from Edenton, Chowan County, right in here, that could take you over towards, say, Moyock and back toward maybe Corolla Beach here. So yeah, there's Corolla. They're getting some heavy rain. Elizabeth City is now in the mix as well. So it's kind of sloppy. This is just what I'm focused on, but Dare County, Camden, Currituck, everyone's been dealing. Knott's Island, a lot of rain today, and it's still coming down. So when's it going to get better? I think by midnight, it'll be improved area-wide, but to be fair, it's probably improving already in some places, right? Over toward Williamsburg, not as bad. It's really focused like a fire hose. You know when a fireman has a hose and focused on the fire, it's a stream, right? And so that stream right now is in that little area I just illustrated a moment ago. Now we have this coastal low. This is not Melissa. This is a coastal low, and its grip will be weakened tomorrow as it heads out, but fast on its heels, is another system that's going to come in from Tennessee. A big shout out to my friends in Knoxville, East Tennessee. Yeah, it's coming in from Tennessee. It's going to provide some rain there, but it's also going to provide some rain and maybe some severe weather here. What? You didn't talk about a lot of that today. Well, we're going to bring that into the fold, right? I mentioned thunderstorms, but there could be an isolated severe storm tomorrow night and into Thursday morning. So keep in mind, when we look at these outlooks, they do go through 8 a.m. the following morning. Looking at our live tower cams, a little bit of fog maybe on the lens in Williamsburg, but it's been very choppy on the ocean front of Virginia Beach. And if we look at our headlines, I can see some rain still coming on the lens. Evening showers will slow down, check, 1 to 3 through Thursday. That's total. So some of you already had an inch. You may pick up another ½ inch to an inch. We'll look at that. And tidal flooding through tomorrow will be minor to moderate. Well, that's pretty vague. We'll get into the specifics too. So let me just show you. So the grip of this coastal low, which has caused another 4 homes in Buxton to collapse today, it's going to wind up, move out to sea, and then quickly from Missouri, Tennessee, here comes the next weather maker, Wednesday into Thursday morning. But then all of a sudden the sun pops out. Let's stop the clock here. What is this? This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's very important to understand here, as I clear off my telestrator, very important to understand that Thursday afternoon should be nice and bright. It's going to set the stage for a mostly sunny Friday, which is Halloween. Not too spooky, but even Halloween's going to have a challenge. Not weather, but wind. I mean, the sun's going to be out, but trick-or-treaters could expect probably gusts 35 to 40. You're going to find a breezy day, call it gusty, call it what you want, mostly sunny moms and dads, even for the little ones going trick-or-treating anywhere between 4, 6, 7, or 8 o'clock. Now, I know about you, if someone's knocking on my door at 9 o'clock, they're like, turn off the porch light at 8. Well, whatever, the big kids. Sometimes high schoolers just holding on too long. But either way, whoever wants the candy grab, they're going to feel the wind. I think the winds are going to be an issue. Now, as far as what this map would suggest, you can see that front's well off the coast by lunchtime on Thursday. Now, this is the severe weather threat. I want to focus on this. This is not from me. This is from our friends at the Storm Prediction Center. Do you see how all of southeastern Virginia, the 757, as well as northeastern North Carolina, are all colored green? That's level 1. We talk about these colors all the time if you watch late in the live stream. Now, if you need some information and intel, it's damaging wind, right? There could be some flooding potential. I think the hail threat is pretty minimal, and I think it's a 0 chance of tornado formation. They don't even have, the Storm Prediction Center, they don't even have a 2%. I mean, it's next to nothing. So it's less than 2%, anything for a thing that would rotate, but the damaging wind might be there in a spot or 2. So that's why we're colored in green. So which brings up the great question from trivia. I remember this from NC State. I remember learning this at NC State, and I saw this from Tony Nargi today. And forecaster Derek Getter comes up with some great trivia questions. So I want to pass along to you. Here's the question. Now, don't think about it too hard, and certainly if you're cheating and you're looking it up on AI or Google, you're missing out on the fun. So let me put the map on the screen here. If lightning strikes 1 mile away from your house, notice how I added your house. If lightning strikes 1 mile away from your house, how many seconds will it take for you to hear the thunder? I'm just curious. You got A, B, or C. I'm just curious. This is a good time to check to see who is actually watching live. Would love to know what, in fact, you saw. I got a note from Lori Johnson. Might be a little older. She was 3 minutes ago. She said, I stayed in bed all day. You know what today was good for, Lori? Soup. How many of you like soup? Now, I promote pizza a lot, but today, you got to admit, today was a great soup day. If you just sat in and had some chicken noodle soup and had maybe a fireplace, or if you're really fancy, maybe you can flip a switch and just poof, and the fire comes on. That's me just dreaming. But hey, if that's your situation, that's the kind of day that today was. It was windy, it was bleak, it was dreary, you name it. That's how I described it. It was just in the weather communication. But we got to get back to the weather trivia. Is it A, B, or C? Do I have a guess? I got Lori Johnson, since we're having this conversation. Lori, I'm glad you're here. She is guessing. The answer is 1 second. Well, actually, Lori, and I very much appreciate your participation because you're a new face to me. You may be not new to Facebook, but new to me on this live stream, so I'm very grateful that you're here. The answer is actually 5 seconds. Am I right? I'm right. You know what it is? It's the difference between the speed of sound and the speed of light. If I pull out a flashlight, right, the light's going to get to you faster than my voice. So you have a ratio of 1 mile equals 5 seconds. So this is a fun game to play with your kids. You say, hey, we got some severe weather isolated coming in Wednesday night and Thursday. When you hear a kaboom, right? That's the thunder. But the lightning was a couple seconds before. So as soon as you see the flash, and I mean like the flash, start counting. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000, 9 1,000, 10 1,000. Kaboom! How many seconds? I got 10. I got 10 on my hand. That means it was 2 miles away. You see what I mean? 15 seconds, yeah, you were 3 miles. So this is kind of fun, but it is faster. Think about it. Light, the speed of light is much faster than the speed of sound. So the answer is 5 seconds. See, you learned something new. Nobody likes to be taught, but they love to learn. And I loved when I learned this back at NC State, back in the mid-late 90s. So there you go. It's fun to learn, and now you have something new you can take to the water cooler. I want to show you some peak wind gusts. It is now 7:54. I don't want to go too long tonight, but I do have a lot of information to unfold locally. Now that we've covered the trivia and we've covered Melissa. I'll get back to Melissa maybe briefly toward the end. But the peak gust today was significantly higher than yesterday. Now, yesterday at this time, I had 30, but it actually peaked to 36 before midnight. So this had to go up. Today, so far, it was 47. And I'm using, just for comparison, the Norfolk International Airport numbers. So if you like light wind days, and I was advertising Friday would be better, Saturday would be better, Sunday was great. But now that we've got this wind, it is interesting to note that today was 47. And if you look at our current wind speeds around the region with the high surf right now, it's 36 at Virginia Beach. Norfolk is currently gusting at 29 with a peak earlier of 47. Chesapeake doesn't have a gust at the moment. Kildebo Hills is 25, Hampton's 26, and so on. Wallop's 28, and Manteo at 28. These are the peak gusts today, almost 50 for Virginia Beach. Is that astonishing? I mean, it was 47 for Norfolk, so that's in keeping with just down the road. Hatteras was 43, Manteo was 45 today. So I like to show you the current wind speeds. Even at this hour, I would say probably not far from Back Bay, Virginia Beach, you still got winds over 30. And you currently have a 41 mile an hour gust in Rodanthe. So it's been a windy day, and if you had to pump gas, it's no fun. It feels blustery. Now, the wind advisory, they allowed it to expire. It was supposed to go to midnight for Virginia Beach and the Eastern Shore. It's now been removed by the National Weather Service in Wakefield. But this one, which is issued by the National Weather Service in Moorhead City, runs till 11 o'clock tonight. So you still got areas in Dare County all the way down to Hatteras, Ocracoke. So just know it's going to be gusty tonight. Now I want to show you that my expectation tomorrow will be basically a 10 to 20 mile an hour wind sustained, gusting possibly as high as 35 to 40. You can see some of those wind speeds. This is 11 o'clock tonight. What should jump out of the page here is that projection of 48 along the Outer Banks, and it's 32 south side. Now come tomorrow morning, this is 7 a.m., it's still pretty gusty in the Outer Banks, but maybe lesser so for Albemarle and inland Virginia. You head into tomorrow afternoon, 24 here, 22 here. But I still think we have the potential to reach 35, possibly as high as 40 tomorrow. Then it's tomorrow night, it comes back. Why on earth would it come back tomorrow evening? The answer is that secondary front, right? That front's coming in from Tennessee. It's going to ramp up the winds, and hence we're getting more color at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night. So we're not done with the wind. It's going to be what I like to call the bad hair day, and so it goes. We just have to grin and bear it. But this will be okay. By the time we hit Thursday, it's still a little gusty, a little breezy, and like I said, I still think you're going to find that system pulling away Thursday afternoon. It's going to bring back some wraparound winds on Halloween day. Coastal flood warning. This is not a recording, although if you watch it, it might be. This runs till 10 a.m. Thursday. It feels like we've been on this pattern. And all these dark green areas are the coastal flood warnings. All the light green areas are the coastal flood advisories. So let me just give you 1 to 2 feet of inundation. Where are we going to have trouble spots tomorrow? I think if you look at Sewell's Point, you've got some minor flooding at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Right? That would be a good indication we're going to see some rising water outside of our station on Olney Road and Bush Street. But it does go to nuisance by the time we hit Thursday afternoon. So that's an improving point, but we have to cycle through it. Similarly, Duck, which really, again, just north of Buxton, you're still dealing with minor flooding here at 1 o'clock tomorrow, but there's no concern once you move into Thursday. That's good. But where we have our biggest trouble spots, based on the hydrologist at the National Weather Service, would be Pagan River at Smithfield Station, Lynnhaven River at Lynnhaven Inlet, and Nassawadox Creek at Bayford. These are the hot spots for moderate flooding as we head into tomorrow. Some of you say, I don't even know where those places are. But if you're from there, if that's your neighborhood, you know exactly where I'm talking about. So these are the concerns tomorrow afternoon, 3, 4, 5 p.m. That's what we're going to be dealing with by tomorrow. If you've got another note, let me know. Let's see here. I got some notes here. I got Lori conversation. Got a great note. Oh, I got a great suggestion from Kim. Thank you, Kim. She is suggesting chili. I didn't even think about chili. Maybe it's because I don't like the beans. Maybe I should. Chili's good. You know, you go to Cincinnati. If you don't like chili, I think they'll kick you out. I think that's like a staple of food in Cincinnati. That's just my guess. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking soup, chicken noodle soup. There's all sorts of good things. But you can also get, as I always like to say, a hot pizza. That's always good too. We're giving away free pizza tomorrow. And yes, you could also get the hot Honey Magnifico for $10.99 if you use the promo code WTKR Sunny. All right, back to the weather. I got ahead of myself, so let's get back to it. This is what I find fascinating. When you look at the big screen, there's not a lot to see out here. So really, this storm, Melissa, is the only game in town, right? This is the storm that we focused on. So if we go back to the current image here, I'm going to give you the current reading. This is now beginning to move north, the center of circulation well north of Kingston. The heavily populated area was spared because it was on the western side where it actually hit. And you can see that now moving away. But as of late, it has now winds of 175. This is fascinating to me, and if you're a weather nerd like me, this was what we were basically dealing with, 185 when it was sustained. This was actually 220 when it hit New Hope, Jamaica. Isn't that ironic? The name is New Hope. Maybe there will be New Hope once the cleanup is taken care of. But boy, is that a really sad place to be tonight, I'm sure. Let's see, 125 sustained. This thing actually hit 185. So you can see from these numbers how much it's fallen. Now it's a Category 3. So it's rolled over land. It's lost some of its heat source, so it's weakened, and it's moving northeast at 8. This is the 8 o'clock update, right? It is now 8 o'clock straight up. You couldn't get anything more timely than this report. And that's why I love the live stream, right? There's many reasons the live stream can be helpful, but if you're watching live and you have family down there, pressure's now down to 950 millibars. That's another tool to measure strength. To give you reference, this was 800, the lower it goes, kind of like a golf score. The lower it goes, the stronger it is, right? This was 892 millibars. So we use MB for short. So it has actually, it's weakened a bit, but it's still major, right? Category 3 is still a major hurricane. For comparison, and again, I'm come back on camera here. Let me come back on camera here. What's interesting about this is Wilma had winds of 185, 52 fatalities. It was 882. So Wilma had 10 millibars ahead of stronger than this storm Melissa. But still, if it's the worst storm ever to hit Jamaica, which it is, we've had all of these hurricanes, 3 Cat 5s, right? We had Aaron, we had Umberto, and now we have Melissa. 3 Cat 5s, but none hitting the United States. Is that not a blessing in disguise? Like every day's a gift, whether you get hit by a hurricane. Now New Hope has reasons to be hopeful because it's going away and they're going to have a chance. And I know that the whole international community is going to probably be sending in some aid and rushing in to help them. I know that probably to be true. Just the way human nature is, we try to take care of our neighbors because that's all we got. This storm headed toward western Cuba may actually strengthen again to Cat 4 as projected by the Hurricane Center, likely to go through parts of the southeastern Bahamas and then work its way in the direction of Bermuda. And then off in the races it goes. Colder water by the weekend, it'll be headed up to colder waters and finally fading from our memory as we move into this weekend. Just checking in with some notes here. Let's see here. Taj is talking about, I don't know if he's having a conversation with me or with Kim, but he is saying, when I was younger, my church was New Hope United Christian Church. It's now changed. Well, there's a similarity. I thought maybe it was poetic, maybe irony. Well, there was some irony that it was hitting New Hope, because they will have a new hope, because I do know that people will come together. Certainly the Jamaican people will come together and take care of each other. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I certainly didn't mean to do that. My finger got a little antsy on the trigger there. But here are the names, the seasonal names. We mentioned Melissa, Cat 5. Umberto had a little dance with Imelda, pulled those storms away from us. And then we had Gabrielle as a 4, but Aaron was a 5. And we had some impacts from storms that didn't even have a name. Now, as we look at the satellite radar, it's now 8:03. You got to keep moving. This is the storm system in the middle of the country that's going to have an impact on us as we head into Wednesday night, Thursday. So really, if you look for severe weather here, you got to go all the way down to Louisiana, where there appears to be one in LaSalle Parish, a tornado possible. I repeat, do not expect any tornadoes here. heading into Wednesday night. There could be some strong gusty winds, yes, but that storm is in central sections of Louisiana. You come back home, we already mentioned the heavier rain band that was moving through Chowan County and Edenton. It's now centered around Pasquotank and Elizabeth City and working its way through Currituck and trying to get out to sea just as fast as it can. But I do think by, I'd say midnight, it should be drying out, if not sooner. The way things are trending is probably going to be much improved by 10 or 11 o'clock as this pulls away. All right, low temperatures today. We fell to 53 this morning at 3:27 a.m. That was our low. And we flatlined because you know how high we got? 57. Now, I know what you're thinking. When was 57? 57 was at 4:53 this afternoon. So you're telling me we started at 53 and we went to 57. That's right. We moved 4 degrees all day. That's why I said we were going to flatline. We weren't going to move. It was going to be like isothermal. It was going to stay put. Many of us didn't even get out of. Barely hit 50 in Jackson. I believe they're in the 40s now, but it was a cool day. And in fact, we picked up the most amount of one-day rain today since in a month. You go back to the 27th of September, we had over 2¼ inches of rain, and we'll look at that here momentarily. But the biggest rain today in a month's time in Norfolk. Speaking of rain, 40% chance of rain tomorrow. The intensity will drop off tomorrow, and then it'll pick back up tomorrow night, well after dark, probably closer to 11 p.m., and then continue into the pre-dawn hours of Thursday and into sunrise Thursday morning. Norfolk typically gets 49 inches of rain a year. That number is presented to you at the top of the screen. So for your perspective, this is one of the drier months of the year. It looks like February is clearly the driest. But we do see just under 4 inches of rain typically in October, and November is actually drier at 3.10. So some of the drier days of the calendar are upon us. Now, we did pick up sizable rains today. We're going to see more clouds, and I would call it mostly cloudy. There's potential that some of these clouds could thin out a bit tomorrow, but I expect it will be a nudge higher. We'll scratch and claw just to get to 63. Winds about 35 to 40. That's my expectation. And again, 47 was the gust today. I think we'll probably be closer to 35, maybe as high as 40. But the sustained winds 10 to 20, more showers in the forecast. Can you find a day in this calendar month where we had a high of 57? I mean, I see Saturday was 59, but this looks pretty cool to me. And we've now had 3 weeks below normal. That's kind of cool to me. I mean, some of you might be thinking that was wild, but let's see here. See, Taj is laughing at me. I'm laughing at his bean. Don't need to have beans, Dave. It's still great. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I like the chili with just the ground beef in there. And of course, I love the spices. That's good too. By the way, today's high, 57. The record high has 2 dates. 86, that occurred on 1919 and in 1984 when Ronald Reagan was president. So a long time ago, that's obviously nowhere near 86. But as of 5 o'clock, because I got a little bit lazy today, this 0.7 represents through 5 o'clock. I'm sure we've picked up a little bit more rain than that. In fact, if I look over my laptop here, it looks like we may have picked up another 0.04. So maybe this is about 0.75. If you count what was before midnight or around midnight, but 0.7. And that puts us now just under 2 inches at 1.85, just for perspective. Of course, we'll add a little bit more. And we had 0.12 yesterday. That was finalized last night, too. Dew point temperatures extremely dry. It's like winter has come to Pittsburgh. When you've got dry air at 29, 39 Big Apple, 56 Hatteras. It's a little more humid here than it is in some areas across the mid-Atlantic and in through parts of the Midwest. What dew points mean? When they're this low, they're very, very comfortable. And the only spike would come in probably in the pre-dawn hours of Thursday, because I have it at 62, but it's going to tumble. Once the front comes through, it'll be way back down on Thursday afternoon, and we'll stay down in the 40s for the upcoming weekend, which, by the way, is the weekend that we're changing the clocks. Great opportunity. Changing the clocks, great opportunity to change the batteries in your smoke detector, make sure they're working. But it's also a great opportunity to catch up on all that reading. Maybe an extra hour of sleep. That'd probably be 90% of us, I'm guessing. Some of you will spend an extra hour looking at Instagram. I hope not. I was joking about that today on the air, as my daughters might be inclined to do that, so don't put that thought in their mind. But I will expect many of you will enjoy having an extra hour of sleep. But when it's a real kicker is when you realize how soon the sun goes down. You think it goes down early now. It will go even faster once we go into daylight standard time, right? We'll be moving into that. Current temperature right now, 808. 56 in Hampton, Virginia Beach. It's 54 in Chesapeake, 51 in Ahoskie, and 58 in Manio. Temperature right now in Knoxville, 54. East Tennessee, well, it's 56. That's pretty comparable in Virginia Beach. Our friends in Richmond at 50, and Hatteras currently right now at 60. Temperature outlook, if you're curious, we're going back to normal. Oh, man, are you telling me this? We're going back to being like normal? I guess. November 5th through the 10th. This is from the Climate Prediction Center. I mean, you might be thinking, why be normal? I don't know. Maybe you don't want to be normal. But look where the hot weather is. It's right across the heartland of the country relative to the season, because this is November. Hot for November is not hot like July. This is going to be a lot more temperate, but it's certainly going to be above normal. And we'll see if we can get some snow, maybe to the north of us, heading into the next couple of weeks. You know, it's stranger things have happened. I think we're going to talk a little bit about snow tomorrow, so stay with me. In addition to giving away free pizza. I mean, we're going to do all, we're holding back no stops tomorrow. All right, future temperatures around Halloween into November. Look at that surge of blue. Is it any wonder some snow could form in New England, maybe upstate New York in the coming days? Because look at that chill. November 6th, I could see my breath when it's that cold. And maybe it moderates a little bit by the time we hit November 7th. I already mentioned the rainfall. We're now up to 1.85. I'm checking the comments. Would love to hear from you. If you haven't posted, she says, what is normal here? Normal high this time of year. Great question. I got a great question from our friend here. Let me see. Let me fly in here. This is our friend Lori. Lori Johnson, what is normal here? Normal high is 68. Starting tomorrow into Thursday, it's 67. So it's kind of it's on a sliding scale. So a normal low this time of year is about 50. So it's soon going to be in the 40s, which is why it's always a good idea if you have to stock up on firewood and you know that it's going to be near normal or below, we're going to probably have an early start to at least the winter chill, at least around here. Some people don't like that. Some people are la, 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 la. But we're going to talk a little more about that tomorrow. And I'll give you good reasons to tune in tomorrow when you see what I'm going to present to you on Wednesday. That's the day we're giving away pizza too. So I love that. All right, so let's go back. I want to keep moving. This is normal rainfall. I mentioned we've already covered this. Got a couple of slides here that are duplicates. I do need to purge from my computer. But temperature trend up to near 70 on Thursday. So our warmest day in the next 5, normal high is 68, but we're going to be about 69, 70, and then it's going to come tumbling down for Halloween with sunshine and gusty winds. So a mostly sunny Halloween expected. Our Eastern Shore forecast, 60 in Onancock, 61 in Bloxham and Exmoor. About a 50% chance in Cape Charles for rain. I left about closer to 40 for most. 40% chance that you see there in Nags Head, 65, 64 for Kill Devil Hills and Duck, and Rodanthe about 65. Hatteras, Ocracoke about 68 on your Wednesday. Now, Storm Prediction Center, we already covered this. We already know that we're in this zone. We're in this risk category. This is, again, the legend the Storm Prediction Center uses, and I just like to simplify it. Some people call it level 1 because there's a 1 here. Some people like to say it's marginal, which really means nothing to anybody. But isolated, well, maybe we just say spotty. I think spotty works good too. So if you want to say spotty severe storms tomorrow, well, yes, and if it's yellow, like it is between now and daybreak, Houston, so Lake Charles, Alexandria, Louisiana, they're under the crosshairs for some severe weather, and we saw some activity in and around, say, Louisiana tonight, one of the parishes. But Lake Charles is under that yellow level 2. Come back home tonight, we got rain, but we don't have any risk for these storms actually reaching severe limits. We don't even have much in the way of thunder. But come tomorrow, if you squint, we already covered this. Do you see the green? Oh, but let me zoom in. Oh, but we're the only part of the country tomorrow that needs to be, and it's not even by day. I think it's really, to be fair, when they do these outlooks, it's all of Wednesday through 8 o'clock Thursday morning. So it's the first day covering all the way into the 8 o'clock time frame the next day. So that would be 8 a.m. Thursday. So this area that's being outlooked, this area that's being forewarned, is for an isolated or spotty severe storm Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Because I've looked at the data, that's when we would find some of these areas that will show up in red, some of those thunderstorms and convection will show up. And then you could put to use 1 mile equals 5 seconds, or 5 seconds equals 1 mile for the clap of thunder. And then, of course, the lightning comes, the light first. Okay, no risk for severe weather Thursday. After 8 o'clock Thursday morning, there's no risk right now. They could change that down the road. But Futurecast shows, look what happens here. Remember I said between now and midnight, most of this will slow down area-wide? Well, that's 11. okay. Most of us will wake up to scattered showers tomorrow because today was pretty dreary. Tomorrow, it's the intensity that drops. There's less intense rain. This is 7 a.m. Let me take you to midday. This is midday. It's like drop, 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 drop. It's widely scattered. And I'll take this full screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Franklin, a little bit of rain, shower, Elizabeth City, not. Maybe some drizzle. It's just not as intense, which is why I felt 40% chance of rain was probably would cover the day tomorrow. Now, it might pick up more as we head toward 4 o'clock, but what I want you to focus on is the red areas. The red areas would be the thunderstorms near Franklin, around Sussex County, up toward maybe James City County. So you're just dealing with some rain thunderstorms around Williamsburg, possibly up toward Busch Gardens, 11 o'clock on Wednesday. Now look over toward Ahoskie, right? Some of this energy that you see here will be headed toward Virginia Beach, and the time frame is 6 in the morning. So we haven't quite reached the cutoff of the 8 a.m. outlook, right? So some of these storms over here could be severe. And they look pretty red there. If I take this through, but yeah. All right, so now we've hit 9 o'clock. This storm is now off the coast, but it may have produced a spin up for damaging wind, right? Now, I'm not spin up like tornado. I mean just some damaging wind in spots where you could have a 60-mile-an-hour gust come in, and that would cause a severe thunderstorm to pop. And of course, our meteorologist, senior meteorologist Miles Henderson, would actually cover that in the morning. So be sure to watch Thursday morning as that unfolds and progresses. Now, by midday Thursday, you're going to see a big disappearing act, right? The clouds are going to, this is noon, and then poof, 5 o'clock, nothing but sun. This is, like I said, you can't rule the entire day as a bust on Thursday. Thursday's going to finish nice and strong with lots of sunshine, and that'll carry us right into Halloween. Gotta love that, right? We've talked about the rain at times. I just wanted to show you again, if you're joining us late, one storm is pulling away, another one's coming in from the west, and it will move out. And once it does, we'll see big improvement. Tomorrow morning, we're in the low to mid 50s, about 54 south side, 51 peninsulas, and 53 North Carolina. I have it at 51 in Suffolk, but you can count on some 40s by morning. If you're in Wakefield, Conway, Windsor, will be close, but upper 40s will be more common to the west, low 50s for Cape Charles and Suffolk. Tonight's lows could easily drop to 48 for Murfreesboro, 52 for Moyock, 54 for Norfolk. Wednesday afternoon, we struggle to reach the low, possibly mid-60s for North Carolina. That's where we're trending at 62 at Ahoskie, 64 Corolla, and 58 for Matthews. So here is your first warning, Here is your first warning, WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. Morning showers and rumbles of thunder Thursday morning. Halloween looks great. Saturday looks great, but please take note, this is in fact the fallback weekend. So you get 49 hours to play with. It's up to you how you spend it. I'm just the messenger. And if you don't want to play along, well, then you're going to probably be thrown off on all of your appointments because you'll be either late or early. I don't know what you're looking at. But you will potentially be off kilter with all of your assignments if you're off by an hour. So go ahead and turn the clock back 1 hour. You might actually get to church early. I guess that would be the case. Bright sunshine Monday. And let's see here, 67. No, actually, spring. It's just, you know what it is? It's the spring. When we spring forward, that's when everybody gets mad. I think people are like, oh, I get an extra hour of sleep. I could deal with that. Maybe that's the position that people are taking. But I do want to show you again, this is the forecast. If I haven't reminded you yet, we're giving away free pizza tomorrow. One lucky winner will be announced on Wednesday this week where you can get free pizza for a year. If you're not sure about Marco's, you've never tried it, we got Taz Brown's now tried it. You might enjoy the Magnifico, which is the old cup-style pepperoni, maybe a Pizzoli, which is like a Stromboli or a calzone. I love the pepperoni and sausage. This one's my favorite. Make sure you get some ranch dressing. They will provide you a pizza cup sauce, or if you rather garlic sauce, what have you, but you've got options. And I mentioned that there are specialty pizzas this week with the deal of the week, $10.99 for a medium pizza if you use the promo code WTKR Sunny. And I mentioned there were more than just one variety. You could try the Hot Honey Magnifico. I love it. But some of you may prefer something different, like maybe a white cheesy. Maybe you've never tried the Philly with the cheese sauce, steak, mushrooms, green peppers. That sounds so good right now. So some of you might prefer to try it for $10.99, one of the Works or barbecue chicken pizzas. And remember, there are only 5, now 6 locations that are participating in this $10.99 promo, as well as the free pizza for a year. And I'm going to be giving away tomorrow which I love to do. I'm going to be giving away free pizza for a year. I'm also going to be giving away 10 individual pies. So that's what I love to do. This is like when we give out 10 individual pies. It's a fun process. If you've not seen it, I encourage you to join us because we're going to talk about snow and winter expectations here in Hampton Roads. I'm going to dive into all of it tomorrow, so I hope you'll join me at that time. All right, well, my name is David Aldrich. Just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or if it's serious, if it's rainy, it's gloomy. It certainly can be challenging. There's no question about that. Just remember that every day is a gift, and please make the best of it, make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.